line.
Hello and welcome to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg of Greenberg Financial Group. Dean, looking good.
You know, every week we come back and every week you got that smile and every week we give good information.
Well, it's all about education. I love that you educate us all. I know that we all need it, and no matter what age and stage we're at, it's never too late to know if your money's working for you and the best ways to manage it, because it's not how much you have, but it's how you manage it, right?
Well, it's a lot, okay?
It is.
You know, you got to know where you are. You got to make sure you're protected. And then, you know, that little box there that everybody kind of assumes what your rate of return is, that really becomes the most important thing. That's the engine. You know, somebody say, you know, can make everything look great and say it's 10% or it could be 4%. You know, most people now, we lose 6%, 7%, whatever, in the equity because over any 10-year period of time, the markets basically have done 10%. That's easy to say, except depending what age you are, you know, and also there's a lot of differences in there, but you got to always understand that the plan, the investments, always fluid. They're always fluid. They're going to be moving. You got to react and understand what's going on so you can react. And as people get older, you got to be cautious.
Talk to me about, I mean, anyone who's ever watched our shows and they're about to get this lesson really quickly knows that you are a super unique guy. You approach things in a very different way than most, I would say, traditional financial advisors. What do you think makes Greenberg Financial Group so different?
Well, a family business. We treat it like a family business. And everybody that comes to us, we treat like family. So what do I mean by that? You know, obviously you got to have the employees to be able to buy in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They got to feel comfortable, because if your employees aren't comfortable, well, one, they're not going to stay or whatever. But the ones that they get that energy when you come in. You know, are they polite? Are they this? So that's important. Treat people well. You treat people well, then that comes across to the clients that come in. What makes us different is we do the financial plan as a team. A total team. A whole office is a team. I meet with everybody. I talk to everybody. They come in, Todd, Dylan, they set the appointments, they meet with them, they tell them everything they need, they put the stuff together. I come in and I talk to them. I get to know the people. As we go through it and the proposal's done, I end up looking and helping them on the proposal. Every proposal goes through me. We talk about it. Then if they want to work with us, we implement the plan. I oversee the plans. I'm the one that teaches our guys how to manage the money. There's the difference. Most people do as financial advisors, do the plan, and then they give it to an outsource to manage it. So they get all these, like they might have a $500,000 account with 200 stocks in it. Like they make their own little mutual fund of 50 shares here, 100 shares here, 25 shares here, of just buy the S&P 500, you know? We look at more of the return of the money as much as not return on the money, because as people are retiring, they're very different mindset than when they are in their 30s and the 40s. And you got to be cautious of that. So one of the things that we do that's very different is we manage the money in-house. All the models I put together myself. The hedging models I put together myself. The more growth models, all the things that we do, I put together with the experience that I've had and what I would want as a client. Meaning if you only have $25,000 to invest, or you have $25 million to invest, we can do it. I'll never turn anyone away, ever. Because I understand what it's like if someone says, well, you don't have enough of them. Who are you to say to you don't have enough? Okay, people are learning, they want to know. I don't ever like that. I remember where I grew up, you know what I mean? It wasn't like that. We weren't born with that silver spoon. We worked and earned everything we had, and the people I have working for me, I want that same attitude. So the one thing we do that's really different is that we mitigate risk. Again, risk-reward strategy. And if we think the risk is too high, we mitigate risk. So how do you mitigate risk? Well, we take some money off the table. So we look back at our allocations, and we have too much in any allocate, we pare back, we raise cash, which is good today because you can still get 5% while you're sitting. We can use option strategies to bring in income. We can do option strategies to buy insurance and we can use the inverse funds. There's many ways that we can do it after we do our allocations. That's what sets us apart, from our personalities to our caring to what we want. Everybody cares about their clients. But to really, really care, you've got to get to know who they are and want to know who they are. And that's important to us.
I love that you get so personal. You seem to know so much about your clients, their families. To me, if I'm coming to somebody bearing my financial soul, so to speak, I would want them to understand my past and what I'm hoping for in the future. You know, everybody's needs are different. If you've got a large family like I do, our needs are going to be different than someone who doesn't have children or someone who's just about to retire. So it is so important that you get to know people for who they are to help them realize their dreams, because it's not just about the money, right?
And you know how you do that? How do you think you do that?
That's what I'm going to ask you.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, direct questions. Don't beat around the bush.
I think there's such an intimidation factor, though, when people come talk about their money, because it makes them feel less than if they don't have enough. It makes them feel less than if they don't know the right questions to ask. And it's so silly, because this is what you do day in, day out. This should be what you're good at. And maybe I'm good at something very different, but we should all feel comfortable enough to say, please, help me understand where I'm at with my financial health.
Money is so personal to people. If they're talking to you about their money, they'll talk to you about their situation. They trust in you that it stays with them. So like when people come to us and it's about who's the beneficiary and they hesitate sometimes, we talk to them. My heart goes out to all the people that are estranged from their kids or their grandchildren. And they talk and they open up and say, yeah, well, I've gotten older, now they're trying to come back around and stuff like that. And I kind of always talk to them, if there's a way, try to mend that bridge. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them want to mend it, but the kids don't want to do it. And I don't know what happens, who knows what happens. It's more common than you would think it is. But that's how you get to know them, because you're starting to understand where they hurt. And if you can be there and have empathy where they hurt and talk to them through it and be a friend and understand, I believe it builds relationships. Our business is all about trust and relationships. Anybody can do an allocation. You just learn how to do it, you do it. Not everybody can care about other people.
Well, I don't think anyone is going to doubt that you are just unique and different the way you approach things. And I love that team approach that you guys approach everything with. You are a team that educates and all of those things. We need this now. This has been a crazy time in all of our lives the last few years, a lot of uncertainty. So isn't it nice to sort of get some answers, and it's just a conversation.
Don't you think it's always that way, though? Always crazy times, things are happening. I mean, think about the 60s. Okay, maybe you weren't that old at that time, but I mean, think about the civil rights that were going on there. They still talk about it.
Okay,
Vietnam War.
I'm going to cut you off. We have to get to commercial, and this could be a really long conversation, but I just want to be sure everybody's got that phone number, 520-544-4909, or scan that QR code. You're going to want to stick around, because our conversation's only going to get better in the next half. We'll see you in a minute.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life, and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Hello and welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg, and you know this conversation's only going to get more interesting. We're talking about how diverse the world has become, and your point is that we've always had challenges as a society and as a people. But I do feel like there is a heightened sense of fear and anxiety that has taken over, and maybe that's the pandemic, and maybe it's partially the political climate now, but I feel like people are on edge more so than ever.
You bring up the pandemic. When was the last time we had a pandemic?
Was it polio?
100 years ago,
yeah.
right? Would you rather go back through the pandemic 100 years ago or today? It seems like, yes, it was horrible and people were dying and stuff, but we had a way to get a vaccine that came out pretty quickly. Back then we had nothing. Maybe the vaccine is good, maybe it's not good. I have no idea, okay? But we tried something that is there. Some people worked on, some it didn't work on. You know, and everyone has their own opinions on that, and that's what I believe in, having your own opinion, whether you want to get vaccinated or not. But at the end of the day, we had that stuff happen. And then we went through it. And we had a crash that we never seen before in 1929. We had something in 2008.
Yeah.
We got through it. It seems like we're more equipped today. I guess what I'm saying is I get scared. I get nervous. I get cautious. Risk reward. But at the end of the day, I'm a believer in America. I believe that we get through stuff. And those idiots in Washington, when their back is against it, are forced to find people that are smart to tell them what to do.
So let's talk about, you just brought up risk. I want to talk about it because when we're approaching retirement, getting into those years,
right,
you know, kind of, we call it the red zone or whatnot, we are more risk averse, right? And how do we even know how much risk we're willing to take, or in fact, how much risk we are taking? I mean, oftentimes when people first come to you,
right,
do they even know how much risk they're taking currently?
Well, this is where AI is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we do put something out, and a lot of people use it to riskalyze, okay? It's not proprietary or anything. It's riskalyze, but it gives you your risk analysis by you answering these questions, and each question gives you a different question on how you answer it, okay? Mm-hmm. And that gives you a risk number. But then we do the risk on your portfolio, and we show them your portfolio is too risky, which they never realize compared to what the risk tolerance is, or the risk portfolio is so low and their risk tolerance is higher. So you kind of match that up. That's very important. Technology has helped us a lot with that. What was the other part of the question?
We're talking about risk and how as
Right.
we get closer to retirement.
Oh, yeah, okay. So people think, oh, I don't need to use the money. I can just let it grow more. Yes, until things go bad. Then they see it going down and they go, oh, I didn't know it was going down. I didn't think it. So you know what? It doesn't matter. As you get older, your risk of your portfolio, what you earned, needs to go down. It just does. You have to lower the whatever risk tolerance you have on there to lower it. But you know, which means if someone's at 80 and 90, 100%, let's go for it. You bring it down to 70. But most people are between 50 and 60%. That could go down to 40. Can go up to 70, depending where you are during the cycles.
I mean, you quite like, you know, making $100, but no one even wants to lose 5. So it's a tough situation.
All the time, right? You know, and that's, you know, and there's a lot of annuities that work for that, and then we'll talk about that at another time. But there are things that you can do where you lose nothing, but you're not going to make that much on the other side. But you know, if you're happy making, you know, 4 or 5%. If that's what you're okay with, then that's okay. But you know that there's a lot of ways you can do that now that you couldn't do 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is all the financial tools we have in our toolbox. I think a lot of people aren't aware, unless they're working with somebody like you, of all of the different ways we can manage our money. There's a lot. It's a lot more complex than it was when our grandparents were retiring, right? They just had a pension, and then that was it.
This is the evolution of people not having pensions anymore, okay? Because they have to create their own. And I'll be honest with you, we've done a horrible job as a society preparing people for that. We haven't taught them how to invest. Their 401k plans, for the most part, are just left out there because all the fiduciary responsibilities, people don't want to tell people what to do, you know, because it's their retirement and whatever it says. The employees are afraid to say anything because they don't want to be responsible. So we've done a horrible job of helping people with their 401k plans. We refuse as a fiduciary to not help people with their 401k plans. We will help them allocate it to meet their risk tolerance. All they have to do is talk to us and do that. Obviously, we don't do anything with the 401k plan, but we're more than willing to help them.
Well, no, when someone is given a 401k plan, who does that benefit? It doesn't, I mean, the employer has no reason to, you know, advise somebody.
Right.
So they're just handed. And how do you know where to go?
It's machines. Think about it. Most retirement, these 401k plans are put together by insurance companies. Here's your picks. Here's your things that you do. And then when are you going to retire? 2030, okay, or 2050. They have these target things. They try to make it easy, but they have no idea what's in them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have any idea what the risk tolerance is. Somebody doesn't know what their risk tolerance is.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you asked me, I wouldn't have the right answer.
If I put you at, you take some risk. You don't mind a little risk. Risk excites you, except when it's not working out.
This is financial therapy, isn't it? I love it. I could use this. All right, we'll talk about that.
That's the one
later.
thing in the toolbox that sets us apart. Me and Dylan and Todd, we have this like sense of being able to feel what people are too, because we get to know them. You know what I'm saying? You get to know them a little bit, and our experience kind of tells us where they would really fit. We're not robotic. You know, I'm not just pointing in and this is what it is. There's got to be that sixth sense that comes in.
To me, there's no more personal things in life than health and wealth, right? And we all go to doctors and we get second opinions when we don't trust the first one, but we're not as apt to say, hey, I need help with my finances, and pull that trigger. But this is a really simple, no-risk way to get a hold of where you are and decide whether or not. I personally would like to know. I mean, I'm 40-something. Don't need to get into specifics.
Forever.
Exactly. It's never going to change. But I have dreams, obviously, of where when my kids are out of the house, whatever that may be, of what the next stages of my life could be. And wouldn't it be nice to know now, if I'm not on that right path, I have time to fix it. If I wait too long, you know, it might be too late to get to
what's the first question I would ask you if you came to me?
What?
Is your husband on the same path that you are? Does he want the same dreams you have?
Again, this is like going to therapy.
I'm telling you, that's what I think about that. If you want to travel around the world and he doesn't want to do that, you got to prepare for that.
Honey, if you're listening, we need to talk tonight. Okay, that phone number is 520-544-4909. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll come back and talk about your viewer questions, which are my favorite part of the show, so stay with us.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Hello and welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg, and he's proving to us why money really does matter, especially when it comes to planning for your retirement. I love the viewer questions. They're amazing.
So do I. It's amazing that they do. They contact us, they send us questions, and we bring them to the show.
Well, I mean, some of
So
these...
the way they do it, by the way, is they just contact us on our email.
Ah.
They send questions to us, and that's where you're getting these from.
I feel like a lot of these questions, though, are things that other people can relate to. So I picked this one because I thought this was great. But how do you plan for a woman's financial future versus a men's? And how is their retirement?
You guys just love putting us guys on the spot, don't you?
Me? No. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Well, you're talking about, are they single? or are they together?
Yeah, I would say let's talk about that. A woman's
Okay.
versus a man. How do you approach their retirement differently, or do you?
You don't really approach it differently. You find out what their needs are. Their needs are definitely different. A single woman is definitely going to be different than a single man. Okay? A single woman probably knows more about exactly what she wants and what she wants to do, and you're probably able to put together a decent plan for her within what she has in the management. And and then you take into consideration, were they married? Are they divorced? Is there money coming in from that? Is there not? Do they have children? Who's taking care of the children? If they're just single, never been married, it's a different thing too. And then what is their lifestyles like? People change as they go along. I mean, my wife's into rescuing every animal in the world now. Okay, now she just has a horse that she rescued. So did I plan for that? No, but now I have to budget it. And it's fun because people change and you have to change with it. But if it makes them happy, it's great. But when it comes to budgeting, it comes to how much you're going to get. When it comes to making sure you still have, the one thing that is probably different if you're single, you don't need life insurance because you don't have to give it to anybody else. So a lot of people that might have had life insurance and they have cash value in it, or they're paying, on the, and it's coming up and they, with term and it keeps going higher. I tell them, what do you need it for? Perfect example is my sister. She just lost her husband a year ago, and she has no children. And she has some money that's in a cash value, and she basically wants to cash that out. She goes, what do I need life insurance for, and keep paying for it?
Yeah.
And then she said, then I'll take some of that money. I'm going to give to all my nieces and nephews, and then I'm going to have some money. I'm going to take a trip with it. And that makes sense because she doesn't need it. There's nothing there. She doesn't have to worry about an estate. She doesn't have to worry about any children, and she'd rather give it away to her nieces and nephews while she's alive.
Yeah. You spoke just a minute ago about budget, and I just wanted to touch on that because
you don't have one. I know you don't have a budget.
I have a budget, okay? Let's just not talk. Let's not make this all about me today. But it is a little bit of a daunting topic, right? So my budget now, with my kids being at home, might change, right, as they get older. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to go and do things and enjoy my life. So how do we sort of create that magic number?
You just put it into the formula, okay? Like for say, obviously your kids get older, their needs are going to be different. And are you putting away money for college? If you're not putting money away from college, that's going to go into your, what income you're making when they're doing it, which means that you're going to plan. Obviously I have no idea what you and your husband make, but here's the deal. If you don't have the income to be able to pay for private school, they're going to have to go to in-state school, okay? And then if they have to, they'll have to take out some loans. So that's how you plan that way. And you make sure that you set that up so they understand how they're going to do it and you're going to do it. If they're not going to go to college, okay, what's going to happen? What are you going to do? You're never going to, most people don't tell their kids, you're out, you're done. First of all, even if they're doing great, you're always paying something for your kids, And so it's a different type of plan. But you still want to do yours, so say you have all that, and now you want to do your thing, well, you better be saving for that, or you're going to be draining money, unless you're making an incredible amount of income that can take care of it. But even if you're doing that, you're going to dent into how much money you're going to have for retirement then.
What about the people that come to you and they decide they want to retire, maybe, they're retired, they start the process, and then I hate this, I want to go back and work part-time. So that changes the way you handle your money.
That's fine. What we do then is sit down with them and say, how much do you really want to work? Is it working because you just don't want to sit around, or you're working because you need the money? Because if you get Social Security at all, there's a certain amount of money you can make before you start getting taxed more and stuff like that. I think it's about 19 grand or something like that. But if you need more money than that, you go get a job for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Now we're going to have to look at what tax bracket you're in and what's going to happen. And if you're taking money out of your IRA, do we still take it out or not take it out? So there's a lot of planning that goes on with that.
Oh, definitely.
And I have no problem with people going back to work, believe me.
Well, my next question was exactly what you just said, but she wrote in, how do I know what's the best age to take my Social Security? Which is, I know, a loaded question, but
Well, it also depends how you feel, okay? And this is one of the things I battle with the young people, because they look at it and say, oh, well, if you wait, you don't take it out full retirement age and you take it out when you're 70, you're going to earn 8% a year up until that time. And I'm like, well, if I'm supposed to take money out, my full retirement age, say, is 66 and a half, I'm not waiting to 70, okay? I'm not taking the chance that something happens to me and I didn't make one dime back from the damn government. Okay, that's my own feeling. Most of my friends are the same way. They're saying, I'm taking the money, I'm paying the taxes because that's my money and I'm not gonna, take a chance that I don't get paid. And the extra money that we're gonna get in that, $500 more a month or $1,000, it's not gonna make a difference.
Right.
So I want my money now because all I'm looking at Social Security is being fun money. Because if you think about it, if you're working, you're still paying into Social Security, you're getting Social Security, you're getting taxed, and it's increasing your tax bracket. So
sometimes maybe not worth it.
Sometimes it's not worth it. So economically, sometimes it's not worth it. It just depends
Emotionally,
right, exactly.
maybe.
Now, do you take it at 62? Do you take it at 65? That's all part of the plan. And, some people, if they have a wife that's younger, you can take your Social Security, they can get half your Social Security. There's all different things that can happen through that. But it's part of the plan. And yes, and if it's just on the border and it changes your tax brackets and stuff, that's when you have to think about it. If that's all you're going to live on and you don't have much investments and you can make it to 70 and work to 70, you probably don't take it to your 70 because then it's a guaranteed higher price monthly income to you.
So if these viewers are sitting out, on their sofas and thinking, I have never had these types of conversations before, and I'm thinking about retiring in the next 5, 10, 15, whatever it is years, it's never too late and it is never too early to start these conversations. Get on the right path so that you know that you can live out those retirement dreams comfortably. Why wait? I mean, I don't know what the fear is, or people just rather talk about their vacation to Hawaii than they'd rather talk about their financial health. But this is such an important conversation, and I know that you have coffee in your office, right? So, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
They have the best coffee. They won't let me get rid of the coffee. I don't even drink coffee.
The best coffee,
they like
that's a big
That's
one.
all they told me. You can get rid of anything. They all want snacks and stuff, but don't get rid of our coffee, they say.
Look, as long as there's coffee, I'm in. But this to me is, there's no reason to not pick up that phone, have this conversation. Other advisors charge thousands of dollars, and this is the gift we give you for sitting there and listening to our silly banter and trying to educate you and make finance fun. So it's a no-brainer, right?
Thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you always for educating us and making it fun. That number is 520-544-4909. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll stay with us on your road to retirement. We'll see you on the next one.